You are Ichie Francis Obigwe.
Yes.
You are a retired teacher,
Supervisor of schools.
a supervisor of schools in Anambra State. You retired about 30 years ago.
1984.
You retired in 1984. 1984. That is about 37 years ago. That's around 37 years ago. That's a lifetime. That's a generation. When did you start your teaching profession?
1950.
You started teaching in 1950
Yes.
and retired in 1984.
Yes.
That's about 34 years
Yes.
of active service.
Yes.
Of active service. What can you tell us about your school days?
In those days,
When precisely were you born?
born 1934.
You are born 1934.
Yes.
You have the Okanna age grade.
Yes.
Okanna age grade. Born 1934. So, what can you tell us about your school days? What was it like
On
in those days? Yes.
The schools are different.
Yes.
Those days,
What do you remember of your early education?
with our early education, we came to mobilize the people of Umueri for progress. We started to plan for building of schools.
No, I'm talking about your own introduction into education. How did you get to go to school? In 1934, you must have entered school about 1940, 1941.
41.
You entered school 1941.
42.
41, 42, you entered. That's your first introduction to school. That's very early. How did you come to go to school so early? I believe that at that time, our people were not so familiar with going to school.
The school, this Ibadan school started in 18th century.
In the 18th century.
The oldest school, this oldest mission. I started 30 years before St. Joseph's Anglican.
Which one? Which
This
school?
Emmanuel Church School.
In Emmanuel Church School.
Started earlier, 30 years to the central school.
Yes. Started before St. Joseph's.
St. Joseph Anglican.
Yes. And that was when?
St. Joseph started in 1981. 1981. But this was started immediately. Anglican started at Onitsha.
This a central school. The central school.
Samuel and Jack Crowder lived in this village.
He lived here.
In this village. So he made us aware of education.
So
And there was a Catholic school near here also, which collected many of us, and we started with that village. And from there, I went to Owelle to continue.
so your primary school education was where?
I started here.
At this
and
central
ended at Owelle.
central Ebodo Umueri Central
We call
School.
it St. John. There's a Catholic school. That's why I'm a Catholic.
Okay. Okay, that was where you had your primary education.
I had a infant primary here, and I started standard 1 at St. Joseph's Anglican.
Okay, that was around 1942. You started your educational process. Okay, so it means that you would have left primary school around 1948, 1949,
Yes.
1949, and entered secondary school around the same 49 or
I started
1950.
teaching at once.
After primary school,
Yes,
you started teaching.
yes.
Where did you teach then?
Name.
At Ney, there was already
That was the only school, Catholic school, in those days. Name.
what's the name of the school then?
St. Mark's.
St. Mark's. St. Mark's. Who would you say were your contemporaries when you were going to school?
When I was going to school, my contemporaries are all down. We can come with the Servo Pepe, Fidelis Yamasi, and then if this more Hugo, this more Hugo, this, Achibu, Gabriel.
So what would you say it was like going to school that early? What were the experiences you had that time going to school that early?
I started school in time because there was a relationship I had. There was a relationship I have at Owelle, a teacher teaching there. The son now is a professor So they took me early when my father died.
So you had relations at Aguleri. So at those early days, you used to go from Umueri to Aguleri.
Yes.
You are familiar with
Very much.
Aguleri. What would you say was the...
That's why if I get the report, we settled the case of Umueri, this disturbance with Umueri. I let them. We were only 5 from Umueri with me, and I addressed Aguleri of 40-something people, and we got peace during the last struggle.
When was this?
The last struggle, 1999.
1999.
I said 2004. 2004. Then we had that peace thought. I was a leader.
So when you were young, there was no problem between Umueri and Aguleri. You could go freely.
Very free. We were free. There was no question of this black, no false accumulation of history like that. They got in their right completely every time. The same thing happens to Aguleri. And when I was there, when I was appointed teacher, Aguleri protested that no Aguleri was appointed teacher.
They protested that you were appointed a teacher.
But I'm a person too. They told me, be like Francis Obigwe, be associate with people like him, play football like him, serve mass like him.
Okay, they were encouraging their children to be like you, so that they could catch up. But if Aguleri and Umueri were living in peace and brotherly love at that time, why that objection to your being appointed a teacher?
They must be jealous in life. They must be jealous in life. They always feel superior in those days because Umueri people didn't go to school in time. But the Aguleri people, they started in time. They had many people who had appointment in government offices and seeing their children outside. They came back to continue with the schools at Aguleri. But the Umueri people, with only this Emmanuel school was the school that stood. So it was this that St. Gabriel was built. And it was from St. Mark's that we built our lady. So there was no trouble with us. The first war we had was the first disturbance, disturbance. The first was in 1933.
In 1933, that was just the year before you were born. So you grew up being conscious of that.
There was no trouble again with them until 1944, 1964.
63 December, okay? 64 is correct.
64.
When would you say that you first became conscious of tension between Aguleri and Umueri? If you go back to your youth, trace back to now.
1964.
That you first became conscious of tension. What happened then? How were you involved? Did you know people who were involved?
When I was on a motorcycle, the year I got motorcycle was heading St. John's Nando. I was going to touch up with my wife on the back, and when we reached two of us area. They told me to. They all knew me. They told me to go back. Something is wrong.
Umueri people told you. Aguleri people told you to go back.
Yeah.
Now something is wrong. So they recognize you as an Umueri person.
They recognized me as Umueri.
And they alerted you that something was wrong.
And I led them as a teacher. That is the headmaster of the whole area. I was
at that time.
I was there.
Okay. So they warned you that there was problem.
My supervision work, I do it today completely freely.
Yes.
And,
so what happened after that? After they warned you, what can you tell us about?
I went back, and when I reached there, I had them with fighting. The people at the loggerheads. So I thank God that if I had gone, I would have. Something might have happened.
You mentioned that you had relatives in Aguleri that early time. What was the relationship between you and those people?
The mother of that man is from my family.
From your family?
Yes.
Okay, so there was intermarriage between Umueri and Aguleri
Steady. My father is from Aguleri. My mother is from Aguleri.
Your mother is from Aguleri?
Yes.
Also?
And that's why Father TANSI, that's why Father TANSI, they helped in training me.
Okay, Father TANSI.
Helped in training me.
Okay, you knew him? You knew Father TANSI?
He appointed me teacher. That's why he was.
Before he left for Rome and became. So what can you tell us about the person, Father TANSI?
He's a very honest and upright man, just straightforward. He loves his mother is from this place also, from Umueri.
Father TANSI's mother is also from Umueri. We are in Umueri.
I say Umueri.
So there is this close like my own mother is from Aguleri. My own mother is Aguleri. In fact, on the 15th, I was Aguleri for the burial of my uncle. And there was this present crisis on the 16th, just a few hours after I left Aguleri. So now, what would you say as somebody whose mother is from Aguleri and you also have people? How do you feel about this present crisis and bad luck?
I do not feel happy when there is disturbance between the two towns. I mean, if you had come during the daytime, I would have shown you records that show that I fought for the unity of the two communities. I fought for the unity. And the people write the memo to present to Igwe. Yes.
Now, let's. We don't have a lot of time left. I think we'll have to go. But I just want to find out one thing. You have been involved, not involved at the center as a soldier, as a warrior or anything, but as a teacher. You are teaching Aguleri people, you are teaching Umueri people. Your mother is from Aguleri, and you are brought up by Father TANSI, whose mother is also from your side. From your side here, and and all those, and now these two sets of people are at loggerheads. Let me say this: assuming you had some magic power that gives you power to do anything, whatever you say will be done. What would you want to do to solve this problem with Aguleri?
I say if it is daytime, I show you record of all I have done. I did much. I'm one of the people that stopped much disturbance from that side. I'm a key man to them.
You said you were part of a peace committee or something some time ago.
I was leading the headmasters at Aguleri Parish.
Yes.
The Aguleri Parish. And in the NUT.
Yes.
And then
Nigerian Union of Teachers.
And the Catholic Teachers Association.
In the area.
Take part in Aguleri Parish. By then we have not got parish.
I was asking if you were made maybe, let me say, the PG of Umueri or the PG of Aguleri or the governor of Anambra State today, what would you do? What single thing do you think you will do that will solve this problem once and for all?
I have done it, not to put that will do. I have done it. My capacity as the secretary of Old Amoku, that is UYA.
Yes. You were secretary to them at that time.
At that time. I told them, no, not Amoku, but UGA. I called the meeting. They invited me, the local government invited me to look for peace between Aguleri and Umueri. They made me a leader.
Okay.
They made the march over because another leader.
Okay.
We were only four that attended that meeting. Yeah. That is that is the effort I'm looking to make peace between Umueri and Aguleri.
How successful would you say that your effort then was?
It worked very well because we established the boundary from the river along to Obigwe City, party house at Obigwe City. We established a boundary there.
Okay.
Nobody to cross that place.
If you did that, then how did the peace come to break down again? That now they are loggerheads again.
That's why I was telling my people establish the fact that there had been a peace move and something has been done as far as the boundary is concerned. Let people know that if we can get all the records, we will know what has been done, and from that we might take it up to the main road here. I wanted to take it up to the main road here, but by then I became tired.
Okay.
I'm becoming weak because of much work.
Okay. Now let me end with this. Do you have an expectation that there will be peace between Umueri and Aguleri in your lifetime? Do you think it's likely?
Yes. And I'm praying that this one will close it up. If this one is well done, this present Anambra State, if it is well done, and we are praying that it will be well done, that will mark the end of
I'm interested in interrogating what you mean by well done. Well
done is if they can lay hands on all records available, and if they can consider the report will be presented to them. If people will be united. Personally, as I sit here, I do not work out, but I took part in writing a memo there. Memo. Okay. If other people will write like that, what they know, this will help. Okay. Even if Aguleri write, then they know they are always their aggressive position.
Whom?
Aguleri people, I know
they are always aggressive.
They always attack. They always attack us because they are looking for what they do not own. They are using their influence to own what they don't own. I hope you understand me.
Yes.
With that, our prayer going, if this committee handles this matter well, this will end the squabbles.
Our time is actually up, but you said something that has prompted me to ask a question. About how many times in your lifetime has there been conflict between Aguleri and Umueri? I think the first one you said was 1933, and you were born 34. So that is it wasn't in your lifetime, but at least it was close. So coming from 1934 to now.
1964, in the 1999.
In 1964, who was the aggressor? Who attacked in 1933? Who was the aggressor?
Always Aguleri had been always the aggressor, but at times our neighbor living with us at Ocha, the part they play always confuse us. They usually carry the news, the false news around that cause Aguleri. That is motivation.
So you're saying that in 1934, to the best of your knowledge, the aggressor, in 1933, that
1964.
No, I was talking with 1933.
1964.
Okay, in 1964, who was the aggressor? Who fired the first shot?
The first.
They were the one that attacked. They invaded Umueri. And then that was 64. The next one was when? 1995.
Yes.
Who was the aggressor then?
And that one I cannot tell because I've gone out. By that time my attention was.
You are no longer involved. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. You have been so helpful in trying to help us understand these things. And helping us understand. So we are closing with just one last question. In light of what you know about this, your involvement, your present situation and something, what will you give, what will be your message to the people of Umueri and Aguleri? Yes.
My message and my prayer, not only this is that let the new committee, peace committee, Anambra State Peace Committee, let placing God first, then take decision on all the boundaries we have with Aguleri. If they do it, if they take the courage to do it, Umueri and Aguleri will forget the past. the past grievances.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It has been a real pleasure chatting with you about these things, and you've been so helpful in trying to help us understand these things and to find a way and to